Delightful Distractions. Written by Just Thinking Drabbles. Read by Arashi. By now, it shouldn't surprise Hubert that he had been caught up in another silly argument with his husband. They had been like this since their academy days, and he was so used to it by now that he wouldn't change it. Though it could get tiresome at times, he did enjoy having someone with whom he could verbally spar against, and Ferdinand was the best at prolonging any conversation with his penchant for dramatics. Besides, when he was flustered, his darling had the most adorable scowl. His perfect eyebrows would narrow and cause his amber eyes to crinkle alongside it. His cheeks would tint the most beautiful shade of red, and his bottom lip would jut into a lovely little pout. Hubert couldn't help but provoke him just to see that expression cross his handsome face. Yet, regardless of the many times that the two of them had argued over the years, this one by far was the absolute silliest. It had started from something so simple, as these things often do. But then again, nothing with Ferdinand could ever be simple, and this was no exception. "How was your day, darling?" Ferdinand asked as he approached Hubert in their shared bedchambers and pressed a tender kiss to his lips. Hubert had been prepared to answer him. His lips were gaped, words already forming in his mind about how dreadful it had been without seeing him all day, but as he folded the corner of the book he had been reading to keep his place, he was halted by a gasp. "Hubert, did you just dog-ear that book?" He raised a brow. "Yes. Why? Is there something wrong with that?" "There most certainly is," Ferdinand declared as he placed his hands on his hips. "You are going to ruin the pages by folding them. Do you not have a bookmark to place there instead?" "This is how I bookmark things. And anyways, it is my book, so I don't see why it matters." "Does seeing those creases while you read not bother you?" "Not particularly, no." Hubert was doing his best to keep his voice level as he spoke, but truly, this was a ridiculous conversation they were having. Ferdinand shook his head. "Unbelievable. I don't understand why you're so bothered by this." "Because it makes the books look messy." "Funny. You don't seem to care so much for messes when it comes to our bedroom, or even the state of your desk," Hubert told him with a smirk. "My desk is not a mess. It is not organized as you would have done it, but I know exactly where everything is." "Well then, if you have your messes, then leave me to mine," said Hubert, and began to open the book once more. He had hoped that this would be the end of it, and he could finally return to his reading once more. But of course, that wasn't the case. Once Ferdinand had started with something, he wouldn't finish it until he had won, or until he had been soundly beaten. "I would like to reiterate that my desk is not a mess, and it is not harming anything. Your dog-earing of the books, however, causes them to be wrinkled and destroys the careful work that went into assembling them. What would Bernadetta think if she saw you doing such a thing to one of her novels?" He rolled his eyes and placed his book on the table beside him, finally resigning to the fact that he would not be returning to it any time soon. "Assuming that she cared about this subject half as much as you do, I imagine she would find it an efficient way to keep one's place when they are in a hurry." "Please," Ferdinand responded with a wave of his hand. "What hurry were you in that you needed to fold the pages right now?" Hubert chuckled and reached for his hand, placing a kiss on the back and holding it gently between both of his, admiring the way it made Ferdinand's cheeks glow red. "I was in a rush to greet my insufferably wonderful husband. I haven't had a chance to see you all day, after all. I missed you." He pulled him closer, and then Ferdinand came willingly, his eyes softening as he fell into Hubert's arms as seamlessly as two puzzle pieces fitting together. They hummed happily as Hubert brought a kiss to his lips, and it was full of both the eagerness and exasperation he felt at having the man he loved so close to him. Soon, Hubert moved to pressing gentle pecks against the rest of his face, and doing his best to catch every freckle he could find as he went along. Ferdinand let out what he meant to be a huff, but it came out as more of a tired sigh. "You are shameless, Hubert von Vestra-Eyre. Do not think we are done with this conversation just because of your delightful distractions, and I will be sure to buy a proper bookmark for you to mark your place with the next time I go to the marketplace." Hubert merely grinned as he placed another kiss to the top of his forehead. "Whatever you say, dearest."